So my name is Jani Rahja. I work at Posti Finland, so Finnish Post, and I'm head of intelligent automation. Actually, I'm not an ICT guy at all. I have a business background. I'm an economist, and I just recently moved to ICT, starting from beginning of this year. But we started our RPA journey last year, February, so it's going to be like a year and 3 months now. Well, we are a company, we have a history of 380 years, so one of the oldest companies in Finland, which means we have a lot of history, both in the good and the bad sides, let's say. And we have quite a bit of legacy systems, so legacy processes, lots of manual steps. And we wanted to start automating those manual steps so we could get our employees to do the actual important stuff, such as interacting with the customer and developing our processes. So we are kind of using RPA to automate all the boring and mundane and repetitive stuff so the people can do the actual fun and creative stuff. So we started a bit more than a year ago, and we implemented our first robots last year's summer. And at the moment we have 4 robot instances and about 23 use cases in production. We started with a partner, with CGI, and we started with them building this COE, so Center of Excellence. And they help us to implement the technical robotics environment and the first use cases and all the governance and process models. And after the implementation project, which took about 3 to 4 months, we've been more or less independently working towards the next level. Well, honestly, in Finland, the market is more or less shared between 2 players, UiPath and the other one. And it was kind of like comparing apples and pears. That's how, do I want the blue one or do I want the red one? And then we decided, we made some calls to some other companies which would they recommend. And in the end, we found that UiPath would be the best option for us. So we have automated processes for HR, finance, sales support, and currently we are looking into logistics as well. So the first, let's say, we started with the back office processes. That's what we did for the first year, and now we're also starting to automate business processes, which is much more exciting in a way that there's a much larger volume and more benefits to be achieved. I think RPA is in itself, it's quite simple. It's not easy. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to automate with RPA. So I think in that sense, it's fine. Of course, you need to do a lot of change management with the teams and the business owners so they understand what is RPA, why do you want to implement it, and what kind of consequences will it have while it's implemented. So I think it's still like a maturity curve that you're going to follow, and it gets easier the further away you are on your process. We are quite maybe a number-focused company in a sense. So we are actually calculating the time saved with RPA. So the time you have given back to the business, how much they have been able to improve the efficiency in their processes. We started mostly with smaller use cases because we didn't want to start with the biggest and the most difficult one. That's something we learned from the companies who had been doing RPA longer than us. So we decided to start with the back office simple processes from finance and HR. And in those cases, let's say the benefit, the time saved has been something between half and 1 FTEs. But then the next bigger ones that we did after that were already like 2 or 3 FTEs. And at the moment we're doing automation for 4 and 5 FTEs. So it's all the time it's getting bigger and bigger. And that's something we want to do also in the future. I see many companies that we have so much history and long history of implementing heavy ERPs that take 1.5 years to implement, and still they're not perfect. So we're kind of cautious, like do we trust technology enough? But RPA and AI are kind of technologies where when you implement them, nothing gets broken. So it's easy to try and even to decide, okay, this is not going to work, so we can leave it and move to the next one. So I think in that sense, automation is a very interesting IT area. Well, the first of all would be benchmark other companies with more experience, because we did that and we learned a lot. And I think we were able to avoid some of the most common pitfalls in that sense, because the first companies who started doing RPA, it took them maybe, let's say, a year and a half to get to the, let's say, normal mode. And for us, it took only 6 months because we had these learnings from other companies. The second would be, don't be afraid. Like I said, RPA is nothing to be afraid of. You cannot break anything. And it's probably more interesting than you already can imagine. And there are more possibilities. And it's something also, in a sense, that automation, it's not only about technology and IT. It's all about changing, like transforming the working culture and the knowledge base at the company. So it's a lot of interesting things, not only for IT people, but also for HR people and business people.